This episode, it's an actionable tip. Tips to keep your shower clean. Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show. Home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros. Innovation on your home maintenance and repair. This edition's entitled Actionable Tips, Some Ways to Keep Your Shower Clean. I'm here with my old buddy John. Johnny, what's been going on? What has been going on? Anything exciting?
No. How's that?
See, there you go, folks. It's one of the great things about the Handyman Pros Radio Show. We're honest. That's right.
Yeah, there's nothing getting around that.
Yep.
No, I just, we'll talk about some other time, but I told you already, hanging mirrors at places.
Hanging mirrors, yeah. More tips. More tips that we'll discuss in the future.
There's lots of tips there.
Yeah, a lot.
working with personalities.
There's some tips there. There's some tips there. All right, before we get started, folks, if you would, please like and subscribe. Give us a good review, too, out there on the various different platforms that you're working on. It helps get our word out. We're trying to get this word out to as many people as possible. We hope we're bringing you value. We'll discuss that at the end of the show, but if you want to get a hold of us, send us an email, questions@handymanprosradioshow.com, and we will respond to that. Anyway, with that, Johnny, one of the things we decided we'd do this action tip. It's been sitting on our to-do list for, I don't know, like 3 years. So finally I decided, let's get this thing done and get it out of the thing. And I know we might have talked about this before, but we've got some really good tips on helping to keep your shower clean by doing some really basic maintenance and also not really expending any money, but doing just that maintenance. John?
Oh, well, here's the deal. I go into when I go into a lot of people's places, a lot of people, their showers are kind of left untidy, shall we say? And I'll tell you what, the last thing I hate is getting into a shower though is when it's all got crud all over it.
Yep.
You ever feel like that?
Yep.
So.
Combination of soap scum, mildew, and in our case pink mold, because we have pink mold here in the South.
It's one of those things where it's easier. It's like preventative maintenance actually. You just got to keep up with it a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
And so I found a couple of products. One product that I used that I'll share here in a minute, but from a preventative standpoint, I think, I don't use liquid soap. You do.
I do. Yes.
And I really haven't had a problem, but I know that liquid soap is better than the bar soap for that purpose of cleaning up. It doesn't have a buildup like bar soap does.
Yeah, so I was given this tip by an old tile guy, and he said if you really want to keep your tile clean, he said use liquid soap, and the reason is that it's the white stuff that gets on your shower. That is that's actually the binder it's the binder that holds soap together. That's what it is, and if you use liquid soap, it doesn't have that binder. I wanted to just step back one thing and let our listeners know that one of the biggest causes of problems in a shower is effectively wetness, right? You've got to get the water off of your tile or fiberglass. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. You've got to get the water off. So we're going to give a bunch of tips, but one of those tips is that our goal here is to get the water and or the gunk off of your shower area. We'll call it that because it's the tile and or the tub itself too. So part of that is ventilation, which is one of the tips we're going to give. Make sure you have your fan on when you use your shower, right? B, when you get done, leave your door open. Literally leave your door open or leave your shower curtain. Well, shower curtains are tough to leave open because they have their own issues where they'll get kind of ganky as well. But make sure there's some airflow in there because that'll help dry things out.
Well, worst cases you get another shower curtain.
This is true.
which is not bad. It's not as bad as cleaning up a shower door and the rest of it. Honestly, I mean,
exactly
for the price of those things.
And the goal on these, one of the things on the goal on these tips that we're giving you is so that you don't have these major cleaning projects.
Yes.
That's really the goal, because you use the thing, well, hopefully you use the thing every day, and it's just one of those things that it builds up and builds up, and then all of a sudden you're faced with, a whole Saturday morning of cleaning this thing off. And these little tips will really put you, well, in our case it's just my wife and I, but it's about once a month that we really clean the shower. We don't need to do it any more than that because we actually do all of these things. And so to John's point, the first one is we use liquid soap. Now, John, you don't use liquid soap, and that's
Not
fine.
yet. I'm trying to find the stuff that I like, so that's a whole
Oh,
nother story.
that's
Now,
a
I
different
just matter
issue.
of fact, it's timely. I was just investigating it 2 days ago, trying to find it. So
Yep. Yep. I'm not going to give any recommendations on that because it's very, very
yeah,
personal.
right, right. I, but
It just is what it is. But from what the tile guy told me, it's the binder. It's the actual, like,
that
it's
makes
what
sense.
holds the soap bar together,
That makes
gets on the
sense.
walls and it just doesn't, it leaves that white film. Because
Hmm.
if you think about it, soap in general is kind of white and then they dye it a various different colors. So if you look at like ivory soap, it's white, in color. And so that's one of the first things. What's the second thing, Johnny? This gets to taking water off the walls.
Well, I always squeegee out the shower after I get done. I mean,
Yes.
I squeegee out everything,
Right.
everything.
Yeah. And we do the same thing. Now, like, if depending on our showering schedule, we might do it, one person might do it versus the last person to shower squeegees the glass, the tile on the walls. We've got a bench. I squeegee that off. We squeegee off the walls and we squeegee the floor. We squeegee as much water down the drain as possible.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, I think that
That
probably more than
that
any
works.
other
That makes a
thing
huge difference. And
makes a huge difference.
yeah.
Huge difference.
So
Now,
if you're not, yeah, if you leave all that water hanging around, it's just it doesn't matter what kind of soap that you use. At some point, it's just going to hang there and dry up on the walls.
yeah, it leaves water spots,
Yeah.
right? If nothing else, it'll leave water spots. But the other thing is, it becomes a petri dish for certain types of algae
Yeah.
to grow. Basically, pink.
Yep.
Again, here in the South, we have a thing called pink algae, and it literally gets pink in color. And it's if it's dry, guess what? It doesn't grow. It's really that simple. If you can keep it kind of dry. Now, one other thing, I was doing a little research on this morning. You can, if you don't use a squeegee, which maybe you don't want to use a squeegee, you can use a microfiber cloth too, right?
Yeah.
So you just get the water off. Basically, get the water off the various different surfaces, and it'll really help. It makes a huge difference. Is that your experience,
Yeah.
John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It only takes me a few minutes, anyways, to get it all done.
Yeah, it's just
You get really good. You get really good at it. But so
yeah. So that then I already mentioned, keeping the door open when it's not in use. If you've got a shower door, keep the door open, keep the air flowing out there. Again, help to dry that thing out, get it dried out, and that'll really help stop. And then Johnny, you gave me this tip, and my wife has since used this tip. This is a really good one, right? So when you're cleaning it, what do you use?
well, when I clean the drain, I'll pour vinegar down the drain. That's for me. Now, I will tell you that I know you've got some other product here. Let me step back. I'll leave the door open. I have a fan on the floor,
Ah,
like a box fan,
Yep.
but not quite that ugly, but but a little fan, and I just leave that fan on blowing in there for hours. I just walk away
yeah, and it dries
after I get
everything
out, and it dries everything out because now let's talk about cleaning. If you're cleaning it for the first time,
Ooh.
and I have white tile in my shower, and that white scum that from the that what you were just talking about is it hides itself pretty good on that tile. But if you look sideways on the tile, you can see it, where it's dried up on there. So I had to get in there one time, and I spent some hours in there with a glass scraper, and I just scraped it all off.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah.
So I learned my lesson. Keep up
Yeah.
with it, because I spent a lot of time. Now, is that going to work on a tavertine or like
No.
that kind of a tile? No, but on a smooth tile, you use a glass scraper and all that comes off, and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how much crud is on there. It's like I got a new shower again. New tile.
Unpleasantly surprised. You're like,
So,
oh,
but I mean, you've got a list here of some other products. Now what I found is a product, this Kaboom stuff that I use.
Yep. Yep.
It
Works
comes in a
good.
purple bottle. And it's some kind of like an OxyClean type of stuff. That stuff does not stink like some of the other industrial stuff like Zep stuff does, and it just works great. So
It's really good for hard if you have particularly hard water. Kaboom
yeah,
is good. And there's a couple of other ones. There's some descalers and things that work really well for particularly if you have hard water, because hard water spots are different,
so
you know.
so that's a whole nother subject, and I know a lot of you folks up north are probably dealing with that, or
Right.
even down south, with if you're on a well, especially.
Right.
You've
Right.
got all kinds of issues, man, and I'm telling you, I've stayed at
Been
my
there, done
friends'
that.
places and stuff, and it's like nonstop trying to keep up with it. Hell, I grew up on a well, and I mean, I knew that that was just that was a mess forever, having those stains in the shower and the tub. And
Did you have the red stains, John? Did you have the iron water? Was it
yeah,
irony?
it was that, it was brown, it
It
was
was kind of
just
brownish red.
it was just just the hard water and the
Yeah.
minerals and everything. And
Yep.
you don't listen, if you don't keep up with it, you're going to be in a world of
Oh, it's so hard to get off.
yeah.
It's so
Yeah,
much
then
work to get it
you
off.
break out the CLR and all the
Yeah.
other lime
Yep.
stuff, and
Yep.
and then a lot of elbow grease, and go at it and try to get taken care of. But
Yeah, there's a bunch of products for those. You can look those up on Google just for if you
yeah,
have real hard water stains. It's a different. We're talking kind of generalities here, but
yeah.
but definitely if you and if you have hard water. I mean, you do. Trust me, you do. Right? I know
No,
it seems simple, right? But it's just kind
I
of one of
never
those things.
liked the taste of that water when I was growing up.
Yeah, I grew up on a well as well, and so we had the same. We had all the same issues, and plus every once in a while, Dad would go pour a gallon of chlorine into the well, which was always fun. Yay, Clorox, not chlorine, Clorox. He'd pour a gallon of Clorox in our. We had like a little holding pond, and he'd pour a gallon of Clorox in there. For days, we were basically drinking
Oh, that explains
Clorox.
a lot, Larry.
It does. I mean, obviously, right? It adds a lot. So one of the things that I don't, so we use at home, my wife is really big on this one. It's just white vinegar. Take
Yep.
white vinegar and a little bit of Dawn, and basically put the vinegar in the microwave, heat it up, and get it hot, and then put it in a squirt bottle, and just put just a little Dawn, like we always talk about. Just put a little Dawn, and it puts a skin over the top of the liquid,
Yeah.
so it doesn't evaporate too fast, and spray that on. And I'll tell you what, it really does work. It
It's
takes
good.
the
It's a
soap
good
scum
tip.
down. It takes down a lot of the dirt, and then it disinfects also, because vinegar
Yeah.
is vinegar, so it kills. We have we have kind of a grayish tile. It's kind of gray. Our big issue is a combination of anything that's light color, but like we actually don't see mildew, because it just blends in, right?
Yeah.
So we know if we spray vinegar on it, or you can use bleach. Bleach is fine, but it's a sort of prefer vinegar, because I guess if I can eat it, it's probably better than not.
You
And
don't eat Tilex?
no,
Okay.
well, maybe
Just
it
checking.
could explain some of the other issues,
Yeah,
but
just checking.
whatever. Anyway, that's a couple of it. We got any other ideas, Johnny? Or there anything else out there? I mean, I know this seems simple, and it is simple, but it's just something you got to stay after it. It's virtually
No,
every day,
well,
right?
the other tip I'll throw out is that probably every 3 to 6 months is to take your shower head and drop it in some vinegar.
And drop it in some vinegar, yeah, just to clean
And
out,
that
to get
works.
the scale.
Believe me,
Particularly hard water people. Again, if you've got hard water, that's really a must do.
yeah,
You know?
but I even do it. I mean, we don't have hard water. We have our water is really good, but there's still scale that builds up.
Right.
But there is vinegar. There's a difference in vinegar strength.
Yes.
And when you go to like a Home Depot, you don't need to buy the big gallon $21 heavy duty vinegar. They sell a little like a quart of that stuff for whatever, $6 or something, and that'll last you for a long time. But that stuff, it's a cleaning vinegar. It's made for that kind of stuff, and it works really good.
It's more concentrated.
Yep.
Is what that
Yep.
is.
It's a
So when
stronger
you
acid. Yeah.
yeah, when you add it to water, you need to cut it. You do need to cut that. Careful
So,
not putting it on uncutted.
well,
Uncut.
there's a lot of caviveats, right?
Yeah.
If you
Like
got
anything.
if you got cheap shower heads, I mean, it could eat the finish off of it. But don't leave it in there for more than 20 minutes. But it works really well. So that's a good tip. I guess the takeaway here is, prevent this stuff before you spend the whole Saturday, cleaning out your shower. I mean, I've spent.
It's a thankless job.
I mean,
thankless. Ugh. And my wife does it most of the time.
Well,
but,
since we're talking about this,
I hate it.
The other thing is, and I've said it before, is that in some of these tubs, they have like a built-in type of texture on the bottom, like a mat.
Mm-hmm. And
those things are notorious for trapping dirt, and the dirt just stays in there, and it's really hard to get out. I mean, it'll after a while it'll turn ugly. And I found that if I used Barkeeper's Friend,
yes,
and I used the liquid stuff for that, and I'd put that stuff on there, and I'd leave it on there for 10 minutes, and then scrub it down with a brush. That stuff it would move that stuff.
Yeah.
So just to put that.
That's a good tip. And now that we're talking about Barkeeper's Friend, it's one of my favorite cleaning products because of its ability. It does a lot of different things, and ceramic
it doesn't scratch.
It doesn't scratch. It's I can't remember the chemical composition, but it has
some kind of
composition.
It's some kind of a little bit of an acid type of
Yes, but it is fabulous. It's fabulous
really good stuff. It's been around since
forever.
Since I think the Egyptians made it or something.
I think 1881 or something like that. It's an old.
I think they found it in King Tut's.
Probably. It's an old timey cleaner, and I mean, but that stuff works. Good. It works. It's got a lot. It'll polish stainless steel too, man. I mean, that's what I use it for most, like polishing pots and pans and stuff. Cleans them beyond belief. But it's great for ceramics. I forgot about that. You can use it on ceramics. It works really, really well. Yeah. Cleans it up, makes it good. One other thing too, just now that you're speaking about actually doing the actual cleaning part of it, go down and get a rotary nylon brush for your cordless drill.
Yeah,
man,
that's a good one.
That's a great one.
Yeah, you get one of those things just made for cleaning, right?
Yeah, just made for cleaning. Don't and don't get a wire one.
Yeah, no.
but they make good nylon brushes just for cleaning. Put it in the cordless drill, and it's a huge time saver, and they're not terribly expensive. I think you can get a 3-head set for $15 or something. Yeah. But that's all about saving you time, folks. I mean, and aggravation, because that brush it gets into play. You'll use it for a lot of other things when you're out there cleaning or just whatever, preparing for paint, stuff like that. There's all kinds of uses for it. But just put it on the end of the drill and rock and roll, and it cleans everything right up, and you're good to go. So, any other tips, Johnny? While we're thinking?
No, that's it.
Yeah, those just came out.
Just trying to save you guys some time here.
Yeah.
If you're like me, man, you hate the freaking clean showers and bathtubs.
Yeah, I'm not.
And toilets.
I hate cleaning anything, basically. If I can save time on cleaning, I'm good with it. Yeah. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
All right, folks. With that, it seems like, Johnny, the spaceship has landed. I think you told me you were taking one apart in your garage today. I don't know.
Yeah, I found a can of Barkeeper's Friend.
In the spaceship.
They even have it. It's universal.
It's universal. There you go. All right, folks, if you enjoy the Handyman Pros Radio Show, please tell your friends and neighbors, like and subscribe to our shows. We really appreciate it. We're trying to get the word out. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, send us an email, questions@handymanprosradioshow.com. We really appreciate it, and we'll get out there. All right, with that, Johnny, take us home.
That's it, folks. Thanks for listening this week. Catch us on YouTube. Give us 5-star review on the podcast and on YouTube, and have a great week. And we'll see you next time on the Handyman Pros Radio Show.